Hi, it's Lee and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Like I've been saying, in the short term with Tesla, I'm bullish. In the longer term, then we need to see some more results to get a better idea of how this company can ramp up their EVs. Currently, we have absolutely no idea, other than Elon telling us that they will increase 50% year over year. But there's no signs of that, nor have we been given any indication as to when 4680s will ramp up, as of recent. And no one ever bothers asking for specifics, which is kind of frustrating. It's as if the company's main value is based on FSD, yet when we saw the FSD version 12 demo, it had zero impact on the stock price. Which makes you wonder, why is Wall Street placing a P ratio of 72 on this company if a brand new state-of-the-art AI-based FSD has no impact on the stock price? Therefore, perhaps more of the value is placed on the EV side of the business. And EVs being the future and replacing gas cars, then sure, Tesla is so much further ahead than anyone else. But that's totally irrelevant if they can't ramp fast enough. With targets still at 20 million units a year by the end of the decade, perhaps that is extreme. However, if you do the math, Tesla hitting just 5 million a year should be great for the financials anyway. Basically, there are very few signs of Tesla ramping their EVs. Oh, well actually, that's where I'm wrong, you might think, as Texas and Berlin have about 600,000 a year more capacity. Yes, you're right, but an EV is useless without a battery, and that's what we want to see, more batteries. Well, I'm wrong again then, because CATL have completed a new factory with 80 to 100 gigawatt hour a year capacity, which is enough for well over 1 million more EVs. Yep, except it appears that these are all earmarked to replace the current LFP batteries, and then those old LFP cells don't have any other vehicles to go in, so they'll likely end up in megapacks. In fact, these new CATL cells make it so much more difficult for any other manufacturer to compete using conventional LFP cells. It's another competitive advantage for Tesla. 10% more energy density and structural battery pack. That is a massive jump. But there is a new Mexico factory, and Tesla are saying they can construct that in as quickly as 7 months or so. Yes, but they haven't broken ground on it yet, possibly due to some political issues in Mexico. I think most investors hoped or expected that Tesla would have broken ground in Mexico by now, from when it was initially announced. The thing is though, Tesla is a company full of surprises. We never really know what's going on. It's easy to infer this negatively, if that's the light you want to look at it in, but then it's probably better to take a more common sense approach. CATL have their new cells, the M3P cells, which seem to be a breakthrough, enough to get costs down that little bit more and range up that much further, which would thus make all the difference at this stage in the game, well, at least to Tesla, as they're already in profit. Now, it's probably smart for CATL to run their new factory first and test the cells and batteries before building their next one, which has been rumoured to be partnered with Tesla in Texas and or possibly also Mexico. We're being given the number of 100 gigawatt hours a year capacity for this new factory, which is likely enough cells for close to 2 million compacts a year, which could be about the run rate we're hoping from Giga Mexico. And although the cell and battery factory may take longer to build, it's as important as the actual run rates. Once the cell and battery factory is built, we would expect the ramping to be fairly quick, at least when compared to Tesla having to ramp up a totally new production process, i.e. Gen 3 production, with the unboxed parallel production line. Therefore, I think Tesla want to get the Giga Mexico factory sorted first and start building that, then lock in the cell and battery factory. Tesla could likely stockpile ample cells to cover the early stages of production for Mexico anyway. I just like to see the breadcrumbs of how Tesla can get to where it says. I want to see the evidence, and there is so much that Tesla don't tell us, and every chance anyone gets to ask a question, no one ever asks, and asks the most useless questions at times. I don't understand it. I don't know, perhaps I need to have more faith in this and am too skeptical, or had my hopes for 4680s destroyed in the past. It's now affecting my judgment maybe. But either way, it's still all going to take time to happen. Look how long the Cybertruck has taken. However, all it would take is a new headline out of the blue that says, CATL and Tesla lock in a new partnership to build a 100 gigawatt hour factory in Texas, or something like that. And these things happen. I mean, Tesla need to make more vehicles. The market for Y and 3 is somewhat saturated without having to drop prices that would kill profits, at least in this market, with rates where they are. So Tesla need to launch a new model, and one that is for the mass market, that will sell in the millions a year. This is how Tesla grow. Sure, we have the Cybertruck, and there are some people out there who think Tesla might sell 1 million of those a year, but I find that super unlikely. I doubt Texas capacity is even close to that, and I don't think Tesla would make another Cybertruck factory at the opportunity cost of making a compact factory. Why? Because it's not all about getting the most profit per vehicle sold. It's also about getting as many Teslas on the road as possible, because every Tesla is a potential robotaxi, or at least an FSD subscription down the road. The Cybertruck was great at the time, but Tesla have a mission, and it's not to deliver the most badass product ever created to as many people as possible. It's to transition the world to sustainable energy. This will be done more through smaller EVs, especially when a Cybertruck likely consumes about 3 times the number of cells when compared to a compact. Elon says Tesla should keep growing at 50% a year, or at least get back to that number. Well, that's only going to happen by making more EVs, which means they need to make smaller ones that can be made faster, consume less resources, smaller batteries, be affordable, and with Gen 3 manufacturing. The Cybertruck doesn't meet that criteria. If Tesla can find a new sweet spot here around the $25,000 price point, plus rebates and subsidies, etc., then this car would be such low cost, especially without fuel and servicing. In fact, a great deal of the future of the company, industry, perhaps climate change, depend on how well this car will sell and how fast it can ramp up. Again, this will come down to CATL's battery factories and how many they want to build for Tesla outside of China. Tesla's not vertically integrated enough to control their growth yet. They are at the mercy of other battery makers. Panasonic as well. Tesla need Panasonic's 4680 cells to ramp up Cybertruck, if Tesla haven't made enough progress with their in-house cells. The Cybertruck will be in low enough quantities that Tesla can source enough energy-dense cells to ramp that vehicle without having to ramp their 4680s too high. At the same time, Tesla is doing everything right in order to scale up to the level they want. Get cell and battery costs down to a level it makes EVs more affordable again. It sounds like it's still a matter of solving dry battery electrode processes, and hopefully once it's solved, then all systems are go, and the process can be rinsed and repeated easily. There'll be 100 gigawatt hours in Texas and then another 100 gigawatt hours of 4680s in Nevada. Hopefully Tesla can replicate the 4680 manufacturing easily enough and fast enough to see the kind of ramp we want. As every year it gets harder and harder to get 50% growth, as that's 50% more than the previous year to grow. Without 4680s, Tesla's cell supply will depend on CATL and the involvement that Tesla have with them. The likes of Panasonic or LG, they make such small quantities, Tesla has outgrown what they can offer. For the numbers that Tesla need to see any significant growth, they have to look to CATL for now, whilst waiting to take control of their own in-house cells. This is why 4680s are so important. The most important element next year is likely FSD progress and looking to see if it becomes safer than a human, and potentially we will have a training computer to facilitate that soon, and apparently the new 10,000 H100 cluster is about 5 to 10 times faster than the previous A100. This is pretty much an order of magnitude more performance, and will mean Tesla can train that much faster. Perhaps what took a week now takes a day. This is a big deal. If Tesla solve FSD next year, or show a very believable path to it being solved in the next couple of years, then the market won't care so much about the 4680 run rate. In fact, it barely cares that much now. The market really doesn't value Tesla correctly a lot of the time, and this is something I've learned. Like right now, if you truly believe version 12 FSD is an absolute game changer, then you should be buying more Tesla shares, as the market didn't care. It's not so quantifiable for myself, but if I saw that Tesla ramped up 4680 cells to 50 gigawatt hours a year, and was hitting the same energy density as 2170 cells without even using silicon on the anode already, then I'd be buying a ton of leaps, as I could quantify the value on that. But I need to see evidence of it. Unfortunately, Elon's word of the potential progress is not good enough. But who knows? Perhaps this time FSD really will be solved next year. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.